Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 3rd of March, 2018, and we got a very long passage to reflect upon today. It's Luke 15, 1-3, and verses 11 to 32. Anyone knows which one this is? Listen. Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to him, and the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling and saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." So he told them this parable. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me." So he divided the property between them. A few days later, the younger son gathered all he had and traveled to a distant country, and there he squandered his property in dissolute living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine took place throughout that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed the pigs. He would gladly have filled himself with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired hands have bread enough and to spare, but here I am dying of hunger? I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired hands.' So he set off and went to his father. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his slaves, 'Quickly bring out a robe, the best one, and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet, and get the fatted calf and kill it. And let us eat and celebrate, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to celebrate. Now his eldest son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. He called one of the slaves and asked what was going on. He replied, 'Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf because he has got him back safe and sound.' Then he became angry and refused to go in. His father came out and began to plead with him, but he answered his father, 'Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you have never given me even a young goat so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came back, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf for him.' Then the father said to him, 'Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and has come to life. He was lost and has been found.'" The Gospel of the Lord. This is arguably the most famous parable that Jesus told. It is often called the parable of the lost son, but in truth it is a parable of 2 lost sons. Most of us don't see the elder son as lost because he is at home with the father, but in this short reflection, we will see that he was probably more lost than his younger brother. But first things first. Every society in human history has had outcasts. Sometimes race determines this, sometimes social division, sometimes spiritual segmentation. In the time of Jesus, there were many factors, but the spiritual divisions were the firmest. Now, the Pharisees were the religious elite who kept all the commandments, or pretended to, and consequently they regarded pretty much everybody as sinners, and hence outcasts. So they were scandalized that Jesus would associate with these sinners. So Jesus told them 3 parables. One was about a sheep that strayed away from the house. The other was about a coin that got lost in the house. And the third was about two boys, one who strayed away from home and got lost like the sheep, and another who got lost without going anywhere, right at home like the coin. The younger boy realizes the foolishness of his ways when he loses everything he has and helplessly returns to the father, hoping he would be accepted as a servant. Instead, his father shows his great love for him and all of us who have strayed away by not only forgiving him, but throwing a feast for him and restoring everything he had lost. The elder boy is furious that his father would do all this. Listen, all these years I have slaved for you, he said, and you have not even given me a goat to eat with my friends. And you know, when I read this, my heart breaks as much as I imagine the father's heart broke at these words. All I have is yours, the father says. You didn't need to slave for it. You just needed to realize it was yours for the taking. But for that, you needed to understand my love, which you haven't. Most of us who aren't living the abundant life Jesus said we would have are lost. The only question is, are we lost inside the church or outside it? There is no reason for any of us to be lost because Jesus is looking out for us. Let us just make ourselves available and let's all go home. God bless you.